Confidence in basketball does not only come down to reps and putting hours into the gym. That's important, but many players cannot just rep out confidence. A lot of times, you have to change your frame of mind. The first step to finding confidence in basketball is finding presence. Presence refers to being where your feet are. So if you are thinking of something that is not happening in that very moment, you are not being present. So if I was sitting here right now at this table and I was thinking about what happened on TV last night, I'm not being present. I've taken myself out of the moment. And every time you take yourself out of the moment, whether that's on court or off court, you take yourself out of the present moment. When you take yourself out of the present moment, you ruin any chance of getting into flow state. Flow state is being extremely in the present moment, so much so that you have no other thoughts. Now, how do you actually get into the present moment? Oftentimes, instead of being in your mind, you have to get into your body. So if I was anxious about a test or anxious about something my girlfriend said, that's all me thinking in my head. If I could bring my attention to my body, what does the chair feel like? What do my feet feel like on the ground? What do my hands feel like if I'm holding a basketball? Then I'm able to get into the present moment. So if you're playing basketball and you're thinking about mistakes, which are very common, if you're thinking about your minutes, if you're thinking about your stats, you're taking yourself out of the present moment. So if you're thinking about every time you score, oh, I got 8 points, oh, I got 10 points, you're not in the present moment. You're not really gonna be able to get to the flow state. You're not gonna play at your best. You are at your best when your only attention is on what you are feeling with your body, with your hands, what's going on in the game. You're not actively, consciously thinking about your stats, your turnovers, your mistakes, who's watching. You're just in that moment. And the more you can get into that in life, the more you can get into the game, the more confident you will be on the court. If you're finding yourself out of the present moment, a super easy way to get into the moment is taking a breath. This is on court or off court. But if you're on court, if you take a really deep breath and you really feel the sensations of the air going into your nose or into your mouth and through your lungs, you feel your chest rising, that will bring you back into the present moment. Another way is if you're holding the ball, especially when you're shooting free throws, to just really feel what your hands are feeling. Don't think about the score. Don't think about your coach. Don't think about your girlfriend. Just feel what your hands are feeling. The next step to finding basketball confidence is to understand that the game is not that important. I'm saying this as someone whose livelihood depends on basketball. But at the end of the day, basketball is just a game. It's a child's game. You're putting a rubber ball into a metal ring with a net on it. It's not that important in the grand scheme of things. It's not more important than family. It's not more important than time. It's not more important than your health. It's not more important than a long list of things. So when you treat basketball like life or death, and you put that much pressure on you, most people cannot survive like that. There's some people like that. Kevin Durant treats basketball like it's life or death. But you're not Kevin Durant. That's why you're watching this video. An analogy to this is if you were to try to grip sand, you really try to squeeze it, the sand will just slip out. If you loosen your grip a little bit, you'll be able to carry more sand. That's the same thing with basketball or any sport. The harder you try to hold on to it, the harder you try to dwell on mistakes, the worse you will play. So always keep the frame that this is just a game and you are just here to have fun. Regardless of how prepared you are, if there is a dire consequence to something, you're not going to be as confident in it than if you're just doing it for fun. Like if I were to just take a test right here, regardless of how much I prepare for it, I would be more stressed and nervous about that than if we were just playing a game of tag. Even if I've never played a game of tag before, because that game of tag has no consequence. And basketball, regardless of what you might think in your mind, does not have any consequences. Whether you lose or whether you win, you can still have fun, you can still play basketball. So at the end of the day, it's not that important. You must keep that frame. And that takes me to my next point. I want you to ask yourself why you even started playing basketball. When you were a kid, why did you pick up the ball? And why did you continue to pick it up day after day after day? The reason is because you loved it. It was fun. Maybe you were playing with your friends or your family, but it gave you some sense of joy. And the further you get away from that sense of joy, especially when you get into high school and college, you start treating it more like a business, you start working out, you start having a schedule. That's fine, but remember that this is a thing that brings you joy. It is not a job like people who hate their job have jobs. You are here to have fun. If you're not having fun, you should probably start doing something else. So if you're in that childlike state of joy when you play, you will have confidence. This is going back to flow state. That is what flow state is. You are fully present in the moment. When you were a kid, you did not worry about stats, you did not worry about anyone watching. You were just in the moment, having fun with your friends, or if you were by yourself, having fun by yourself. Now, my next 2 points are things you probably heard before. You got to get really good at basketball in order to be confident in basketball. Like, I wouldn't be confident in driving on the freeway if I've never driven on the freeway and proved to myself that I can do that. So you've got to get really good. That's where hours are going to go in. You have to get in the gym. You have to put up shots. You have to work on your handle in order to be confident in those areas of basketball. So you actually have to put in a lot of time on your skill and your athleticism and your IQ and your strength in order to be confident in those areas. The reason I have this as step number 4 is because I was a guy growing up who put in a lot of time, and I was actually very technically skilled, but I never quite addressed what was going on within my head. So I was never really that confident, even though I was technically more skilled and more athletic than a lot of people, until I was a little bit older. So I kind of picked it up a little later with that confidence. After you've gotten really good, you have to prove it to yourself in front of other people. So you have to play competition. I would say that you need a mix of good competition and bad competition. Good competition obviously is going to push you to be better because they're better than you, and so you're sort of having to kind of reach up. But bad competition helps give you confidence because you can score a lot more, so you can try out new moves, you can try out a bunch of stuff. So it's kind of just a confidence boost. But having both will kind of keep you grounded, but also kind of get you a little bit of ego. And ego is important when it comes to basketball or any sport in order to have confidence. I would suggest when playing competition to play 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or 3-on-3 a lot of the time because you have a lot more touches. So if you're someone who struggles with confidence, a lot of times in games, you get scared to hold the ball or to shoot it or to drive or do anything with the ball. So when you're playing 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, you have the ball a lot more because there's less people on the court. So I would suggest starting with that before really doing a lot of 5-on-5. But you can obviously do both. So those are the 5 steps to true basketball confidence. Step number 1, find presence. Step number 2, keep the frame of mind that this is only a game. Step number 3, find that childlike state of joy again. Step number 4, be really good. And step number 5, play competition to show them and yourself that you're really good. If you like this video and want to see more, don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on the rest of my socials.